How's it, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Exponential Africa. I'm your host, Mann, and we are bringing you the very best in technology, innovation, and thought leadership from Africa and around the world. Today, we're going to be discussing this topic that affects almost all of us in the way we are brought up and how we are educated. And if you think about education, it's totally ripe for disruption. It hasn't changed. The system hasn't changed. And the old way of learning is becoming outdated. And if you were a student of the past, a lot of the things that we are learning actually isn't relevant in today's times. And you need to have new ways of learning, trying to upskill yourself in critical thinking or problem solving or creativity. So we are going to be discussing how do we reimagine this education by leveraging the power of artificial intelligence and spatial computing, or the metaverse. And I'm very excited to say that we've got a special guest with us here today, Miss Jos Dirkx, who is the founder of an AI education company called Binova. She's also a best-selling author and a renowned global speaker. Her experience has been, she's traveled to hundreds of countries from around the world. She's been part of the Economic Forum Tech Pioneers. She's an SU faculty, an award-winning author, and also has a compelling voice in the technology and education space. And she's built a number of EdTech products, so I thought it was really relevant to be having this discussion today. Welcome, Jos. How are you doing?
Hey, Mick. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited about this conversation. So yeah, thank you. I'm excited to share with our listeners and viewers so much about education, which, like you said, affects us all.
Thanks so much. And where are you coming in from today?
So today I'm dialing in from Amsterdam, which is where I've been living for the last while. And fortunately, I grew up on the African continent, so spent significant amounts of time in South Africa, but also in Senegal, in West Africa, in Eritrea, which is Northeast Africa, and also working with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in South Sudan. So I think what makes this so interesting is, we always talk about the African continent having absolute opportunity for leapfrogging, for using the technologies that it needs at the time that it needs them. And I hope that this is one of those moments where we can really get the African continent to shine and leverage technology in such a way that the learners on the continent aren't falling behind, because everyone deserves that opportunity.
Absolutely, and and it's been so interesting just following your journey in the space, even from a couple of years ago when we did a discussion with Esther Wojcicki, who wrote the book How to Raise Successful People and has been doing some amazing work in education. You've been on this incredible pathway over this period, and you've pioneered a lot of AI and new ways of learning with your platform Binova AI. Do you want to just share with us some of your journey and what motivated you to start this platform and how it's evolved to meet these educational challenges that we face today?
Yeah, honestly, Mick, I have to say a huge thank you to you and your team, because we go back, I think maybe 8 years now, where we first met at the conference Stream, which takes place across multiple locations around the world, including South Africa, representing different people from different walks of life on the African continent. And ever since then, you have had, as every event that you organize, space for education, and I think the journey has definitely not been easy. We started in 2019. It's been, if you think about the fact that most people didn't really understand artificial intelligence at that time or what it could do for them, we're only now seeing this space, the education space, kind of want to explore artificial intelligence, right? So they're like, oh, I guess we have to do something with this technology. But if you think about it, we've had access to it for 5 years. And what's been, just on the side note, I'm super positive about the future, and I'm very excited about what this is going to look like as large scale implementation, which you and your team have always been very supportive of. And you mentioned critical skills and creativity at the beginning of this conversation. What blows my mind now is that you have educators that are open to leveraging artificial intelligence, but they are doing it based on old curricula. So we have this opportunity to revolutionize, and instead we're only taking like an incremental jump at best. And that is still something that, for me, and I know we're part of the same community when we look at Singularity and we look at Abundance 360 with Peter, if you're going to do it right. Set it up in a sustainable long-term way. And this is still the small-minded thinking that no matter if we have the powerful technology like artificial intelligence, if we don't know how to use our minds and our mindset to actually take that step, it becomes really difficult. And I know you've had those visions too with, you've built the entire metaverse for the African continent, which is incredible. We have to think not just, okay, we have a technology now that's going to help us, but what does this actually mean actively for our future? And that's still a gap that I'm seeing isn't quite closed. So the journey is ongoing.
Incredible. It's just phenomenal to see what you've done and all of the challenges that you faced. And I think now is the moment for Binova AI and for this change in education is definitely upon us, right?
Well, I can tell you that I'm emailing investors less than that they're emailing me. So that makes me super excited. Yeah, I do think it's the moment. Yes, wow. Oh my goodness. I do think it's the moment though. And I think anybody that has a startup like before it's time, on one hand, like, congratulate yourself. And like, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Like, get your energy supplies, knowing that you're going to be in the game for a while. And also, I think don't be afraid to keep moving forward with your ideas, even if the world around you doesn't feel quite ready. It is the moment for artificial intelligence in education, and we are learning, right? So I think you and I work with exponential technology on a daily basis, but it means there are growing pains, and that's okay. That's part of the process. So being open to that and understanding how to better change it so that it works even better, that's also, I think, really important to be aware that matters.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting. I mean, even if I think about my own daughter, at school, there's certain conflicts that arise from time to time. And, the teacher said, that's totally natural. They need to have that conflict to evolve so that they can get into the next part of their development, which is a similar idea. The algorithm needs to have that conflict or something that butts heads to work out this is the next step or this is how we get there. Just tell me a little bit about how you see AI transforming traditional learning models. What are some of the most significant changes you've observed in how students are learning and how AI is incorporated into the educational process today?
Well, awesome. I love that question. Let's start with the second half. How is it being incorporated? Not enough, right? Schools and universities around the world, and also this gap is growing, but generally speaking, are still they demonstrate apprehension towards artificial intelligence. They think they don't need it, they don't want to use it, etc. Here we have an opportunity, like Mila, right? So in Mila's case, or kids her age, if they start with an AI mentor now that guides them every step of the way in their learning journey, teaching them not just math, English, etc., but also about the world around them, about meditation and about kindness, and constantly teaches these important lessons. Imagine what she's going to be like when she's 18. Not only does she never have to write a CV, because now you understand her entire being, her personality, what kind of jobs might she enjoy? Is she an entrepreneur? Is she a creative? You get a way more holistic understanding of how someone is. School kills creativity. We heard Sir Ken Robinson say this in his most viewed TED Talk. We see it time after time again that education systems don't serve the learner. They just don't. So if we have the opportunity now to give every single kid their own AI teacher, I mean, what a blessing. However, while we have that technology, we still see schools being really rigid about their curricula, not understanding that tracking different skills like kindness or adaptability or flexibility, exactly the things employers look for, they're still not teaching those things. And I think it's such a shame that we can't be better at that holistic view. When we think about kids today, they're the ones that I'm speaking to, because I speak to students all the time. They're unmotivated. They're worried about their future. They're not sure what it looks like. The world's going through a really tough period right now. We have that opportunity with AI to change it. And it does require governments, the private sector, and schools to be willing to take a risk. And then if you're going to take that risk, take the risk on a company who's been doing it for 5 years. Like, we've learned a hell of a lot.
I'm sure. And how you, in terms of your own platform, are you bringing in which, some of the different LLMs, which, are you using OpenAI or Anthropic, or how are you actually delivering the product now with these new
Yeah,
LLM tools?
that's a great question. So as of right now, we're built on existing LLMs and we adjust the model or the version depending on where we are in the tool and the journey. Ultimately, I would really like to do local because I want the schools to own part of the model so that they feel like, okay, it's on premise, like it feels better for us. I don't think that they're ready there. And as a startup founder, I have discovered that it's better to build once the school's like, okay, yeah, we're ready for that. And but that's for me, as of right now, that is the smartest technological solution because then you get more of that ownership and you can build with your students throughout the rest of their learning journey. I think what's interesting is seeing the tech stack, right? So what we've noticed with Binova is that because the evolution of AI has been so quick from just being algorithmic to being user experience first, right? Open AI or Gemini or Poe.com or Pi.ai, they all have great user experiences. So that reduces the tech stack when you're not going local. And I genuinely believe that what we're going to see over the next while is way more local, way more customized, way more secure, but most schools aren't even ready for the first part of the conversation. And I've seen what you've done with your building of the metaverse, you're also making learning super 3D, way more relevant. I think you were saying, even you're telling me, when we've spoken offline about some of the virtual field trips. And I imagine just how amazing that's going to bring the world to kids that might not be able to travel. Or, I mean, there's the only thing we're waiting for, I think, is schools to get on board faster.
No, that's what I was gonna. I mean, I think that's totally spot on because in terms of the way learning is done now and how it's been ingrained in society and as a sort of social norm, it's funny how human beings can't. It's so hard to unlearn this format because and we talk about it all the time about being able to unlearn, and this is something that's probably the most in our face thing that everybody knows needs to change, and the schools, who are the people that are running that format, struggle to change.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting that until they get disrupted, and they have to change,
Yeah.
or become irrelevant.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've
So
noticed this, but oh, please, sorry, go ahead.
uh, no, I was just going to add to the question around AI tutors, where you mentioned we're going to have these AI tutors as kids. I don't know how you see them actually changing education and reimagining the way we're educated.
I think it goes back to Socratic methods of teaching that we had way back when the Greeks were, really like sitting under a tree and discussing philosophical questions about life. And here, really what this means, Mick, is that you have an AI teacher act as a supplement teacher to a student's learning journey. We're not talking about replacing human to human interaction. We're simply saying, hey, for that one homework assignment that you didn't quite understand, or for a mental health exercise like a meditation, you can go to your AI mentors, be like, hey, I'm really stressed about exam period. I think I'm going to fail. Students have a lot of fear and anxiety around exam period. We see this around the world. So they don't have time. Their teachers don't have time to help them. Their teachers are overworked. So imagine the difference it's going to make when students can just have that supplemental AI mentor support. And for us, what we've always done at Binova, and I know you know this, I've been talking about it since 2019. Wow. But it really is about also the AI mentor understanding the mindset of the student. Like, how are you feeling? Like, how are you doing? There's so much crap going on in the world today. They might first need to come back to earth before they can actually learn. And it's so easy to disrupt this model, right? Ultimately, teachers are guides. Teachers want to guide students. They don't want to make students regurgitate material. That's not what learning is about. So this really frees up teacher time. We reduce teacher administration time by an hour and 15 minutes a day. We give feedback. Our AI mentors give feedback in 0.05 seconds, as opposed to like the hour that it takes a teacher to grade. Students can go to the AI mentor first to get feedback on how they're doing in the class, to help the AI, ask the AI mentor to help them study. I mean, it's incredible. And we've run so many pilots, like experiments now in the Netherlands as well, where Students even used it during their final exam prep, and it would actually help them learn and prepare for a final exam. So it's just, I'm just so ready to deploy this globally. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and just what you were mentioning about the metaverse, I'm also just so excited for what we've got coming, and this ability to actually, be able to bring in 3D objects. If you wanted to go to the pyramids, as an example, the whole lesson could take place in the pyramids, and you could be exploring them and having the physics of being in Egypt, or actually being there as part of the learning. So it's much more experiential, or or bringing a body part or something, a heart, into the learning, where you to have that physical heart would be firstly gross, and then very expensive. So I think it's just really exciting what's coming.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just hopeful that when we continue on this trajectory, people are willing to take the step. They're willing to explore and understand that this is actually an opportunity to improve and an opportunity to learn together, because then it starts becoming way less scary. Just see it as an opportunity to experiment, learn, and grow. And then you're like, okay, we can do this. And that might be the step that they need to take in order to embrace something like AI teachers or the metaverse, learning in 3D in a virtual reality space. I mean, it changes a lot.
Totally. I mean, we're at point zero now. We're at ground zero of where it's going to go, because you got ChatGPT 5 apparently coming in November. These products are just shipping like insane. Every big platform is really racing to try to get ahead. Where do you think we're going to be in, say, and also in terms of the metaverse, it's really becoming now the use cases are really coming to the fore. And I think that's a lot of the disillusionment that we've been in for the last 2 years since Meta didn't deliver is sort of starting to end, and it's getting ready for that knee of the curve to disrupt again in the metaverse space. Where do you think we're going to be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now with AI and spatial computing in the metaverse?
As an optimist, I hope to see way more learning institutions, whether that's a school or university or even a department within an organization, adopt things like continuous learning that meets the learner's needs, so that you're really celebrating what that person is like and what they need. I still think, though, Mick, that like the overall gap between access to technology, even access to GPUs, even for something like visuals, for internet, even just having this stability of the internet that you might require, the bandwidth. I'm hopeful that we're going to see an improvement and a higher adoption rate. I also know that many countries are struggling to get the policies in place, like the actual regulations on student safety and data. But ultimately, with exponential technology, we've never really been in the position with such exponential tech before, all kind of converging. I think decision makers need to act faster on their policy making. Educators need to be more willing to embrace change, and technologists need to learn how to speak with educators. So technologists get really excited about product, but product is only good when it's supported by pedagogy, in our space, like when it's really supported by strong pedagogical research. So those three things have to happen if we really want to see large scale implementation. I don't know where we're going to be in 3 years, because I did not think that when we were having this conversation in 2019, I didn't think it would take this long. Like, had you asked me in 2019, like, would we still be having this conversation in 2024? I would have been like, no ways, Mick. Like, more adoption will have happened by then. I'm pretty sure that only 7% of the US is using ChatGPT on a daily basis. So
Wow,
it's not
so
as
small.
widespread as yeah, exactly. It's not as widespread as we think when we're engaging with it every day.
So interesting, and such an exciting future we've got ahead of us. For us also in terms of the metaverse, what we're seeing is that education is going to become more game-like. You're going to be sort of playing these games, and you're going to be exploring these worlds, and you're going to be taking part in these fun quests and competitions, and get to win things. You're also going to get all certification will be on the blockchain, will be tokenized, so that your digital certificates will be provable. No more lying on LinkedIn. That's going to be a thing of the past.
That's
And
funny.
yeah, it's been really exciting. Jos, I know we don't have a lot of time with you. Where can people reach you? Where can they find you? How do they get in touch with you?
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. Please email hi@binova.ai and either me or someone on the team will get back to you. Check out our work on binova.ai. I travel a lot as well. So if you're interested, if I'm coming definitely often in the US, often across the African continent and based more permanently in Europe, but more than happy to connect with people and to show them what AI can do for their learning institutions because it's huge.
But thanks so much, Jos. It's been wonderful chatting, and we look forward to connecting. We'll see you soon.
Thanks so much, Meg. Thank you for all the work that you've done for the African continent, South Africa, and with regards to exponential technology. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. I hope you really enjoyed that episode. Please make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also to rethink how you are educating your children, because everything's changing. And if you're not bringing AI into their world and soon the metaverse, you're doing a disservice to them. So please make sure to embrace these technologies for a better future for tomorrow. Thanks, and catch you on the next one. Cheers.